in the implementation as the idea of Professor. Please, the Dr.
Thanks for that. First, I would like to thank the sponsors of this symposium, especially the president of the University of Bologna. And I'm very happy to be with you, in particular Dr. Carr and Marcus Astori, Professor Marcus Astori, are joined in ICRC advanced seminar in 2017. I know the time is short. The symposium topic may be interesting to say and thinking about for me, because I am from a country where the first civilizations were born and has a deep human heritage. It will have painful aspects for me. I am from a country whose origins are the Mesopotamian civilization, the kingdom of Sumerian, Akkadian, Babylonian, and Assyrian. It is a civilization that does not belong to my country only, in which it is originated, but rather a global civilization and heritage whose specificity must be taken into account, especially after the great revelation that destroyed the cultural heritage and the Iraqi museum after the military operations led by the United States of America in 2003, in addition to violations committed by ISIS and the destruction and looting of the Mosul Museum after 2014. Really, I'm listening to speakers, especially specialized in IHL and international criminal law, and I was embarrassed to ask the following question. Are the current legal rules capable to curbing violations of tangible, I was focusing on tangible and intangible heritage? Is the problem in the wording of the rule and its effectiveness, or in implementation and convenience? Do we need to rethink and approach the reality of protection and the violation hypothesis? To shorten the time, we may need to take steps that I hope we can contribute together, especially under the sponsorship of universities participating in this symposium, including my university, which I represent by adopting legal and diplomatic paths embodied in the following. Demanding the international community to consider current international instruments through amendment or concluding new ones will be difficult, especially in these current situations. So, I think the best and most effective way by launching, this is my message in this symposium, launching a global project to comment on the provisions of the conventions related to the protection of cultural heritage, especially the Hague Convention of 1954 and the protocols thereto, the UNESCO Convention of 1972, the Convention for the Protection of Intangible Cultural Heritage of 2003, as well as international instruments of international law. This path can be participated, for example, by the ICRC for its neutrality. For example, as the case with the project it launched to update, I'm focusing on protecting cultural heritage in times of armed conflict. As the case with the project it launched to update the comment on the 4 Geneva Conventions 1949. It is an effective path to clarify national practices in exchange for international obligations, and it will be an important source in contributing distinguished global experiences that will reveal the development, integrating the written provisions and approaching them with the consumer rules for protecting tangible and intangible cultural heritage. It will even be a helpful source before international courts. Commenting on the provisions of international instruments will mean filling the gaps and reducing as much as possible the fragmentation of the rules, fragmentation of responsibility rules. This is a problem before international courts and international organizations. In particular, for example, the inevitable military necessity, the Professor Dr. Ahmed mentioned this in his lecture. On the other hand, a legal diplomatic path must be launched to protect cultural heritage in the most affected areas in the world, which are witnessing either armed conflicts or due to failure to take due care, protection, especially in times of peace, or because they are not qualified in terms of technical or financial expertise. In conclusion, I hope that there will be more effective practical steps on the legal and humanitarian levels, because it is no longer possible to accept that the heritage that exists in a region in the world is the property of that region, because cultural heritage reflects an interconnected human aspect that cannot be separated because it represents humanity as a whole. Thank you for listening, and I repeat my thanks to the sponsors of this symposium. Thank you.
Presentation, which is, I can't say it's against the previous one because it's well coordinated. But the only issue, I mean, we have to close actually, and we not express my views on this final discussion of new laws.